The self-installation video from of the Canyon rooftop tent from PPD Performance. Make sure you go and check their website out for the products for driving products needs. But getting straight into this one, here's a couple pictures from the manual. I included this one. They did a lot better job with the manual than this than the tub rack, although if you look and pause on that hardware identification page, you'll notice that there's some issues there with what you actually get in the box and what that list is. So on a whole, the instructions were a hell of a lot better on this and made my job much easier. Took a lot of the guesswork out of it, but still had a couple of things I thought were helpful to know once if you were to do your own, make it a little bit easier. So this is what you get inside the box, and I've got a couple of pictures coming up that just basically highlight a few things. So once you open the box and undo the strapping, you'll open up and all the items that you need to basically install this and put it on your roof or your tub are all included inside the actual tent itself. So that's where it all is. At first I didn't know where it was, but it comes like this, and you've got to be on the right side. So if you've got the black things facing up, turn it over. And the other thing I wanted to note is these little QC Pass stickers, because it mentions how find the little hole underneath the mattress and then poke the bolt through. And same with the ones for the ladder. It has these pre-drilled holes. It says find the pre-drilled holes and put the bolts through. Just make sure you know that you have to actually look underneath the mattress, which is Velcro down. You'll see these little stickers saying QC Passed, which if you remove in this picture, you'll see I've removed. You see that's where the bolt is. So make sure when you do that, you check it out. And you remove those stickers so you know where to put your bolts through, because at first when I looked underneath I was like, where's these holes? And then I noticed the little stickers and I was like, it must be under those. I'm assuming that's why those stickers were there, to confirm that they've actually drilled the holes. So this is just a quick video. I've got two angles of this because this is just the camera angle from my head, so it's a little bit off center, so I apologize for that one. But the other one gives you a bit better view of all the items, and then I have some pictures, because you'll see to the left there all the bolts that are together. You can see there's one big long bolt, I'd say a bracket. Then there's two bolts, and those two bolts have nuts on them. You undo the nuts and you end up with a bolt that has some sort of a aluminium piece on it that's got some sort of angles on it. And then in a moment, you'll notice I put the aluminium frame on top of the roof tent and line up to see where they go. I noticed that there's that side you can see, which looks open. And you can see that's the hole. Obviously, the bolt's got to go through. That's pretty simple. And then when you turn it over, you'll see that there's two holes in the aluminium frame that are slightly larger. So those were the ones that I assumed you have to have the flat piece go on the flat bottom of the tent. That's kind of obvious. So this is just looking from the other angle of me placing them all out. So I just wanted to point out those two things that are important, which is, three things. One, don't worry about these cords or the tent pegs. They're not relevant for the installation. They're relevant only if you want to, when you're setting up your tent, if you want to open up one of the flaps. It's nothing to do with the installation. It's to do with the tent, much like the cover and stuff. Anyway, I just sort all this out so that I know I've got everything and put everything that's supposed to be together. So they all come together, those four little brackets. So those four brackets are designed to hold your rooftop tent to either your tub rack or your roof rack, however you want to set it up. can be set up multiple ways, either sideways, frontways, as in which way it opens. And they're the metal frames that you put down. The interesting thing is the bolts that it comes with, which I have, there's some pictures coming up where I circle the items. With the circle items of those, so that's me pointing out the hole. I just want to make note of those brackets there, that they're all together. Undo all those nuts because you need those to be separate when you slide them on the aluminium brackets. And then you place the bolts on, the big brackets underneath, and then you do the bolts up. And those two little metal sliders go either side. So what I've circled there, those things, that's what holds down your aluminium frame to the tub or your rooftop. Okay, now I've circled the two different types of bolts, and this is the two attachments you use to attach to the rooftop tent for your ladder. Those are the plastic little clips that you put on the end of the aluminium frame so that you don't get bumped by the sharp bits. And they also supply you 2 size spanners that you're going to need to do everything with. So that is fantastic. The fact that they actually supply that, you don't need anything else, unlike the tub, excuse me, the tub wrap, which was required a lot more items that you didn't know that you need to have. A lot of this is just all included. Now this is me figuring out how everything goes together. So I've undone the mounting bracket things, and I've realised that they slide in along that track line, and when they slid in along that track line, they slide in nice and easy. They also hold that place so that you can tighten the bolt up from underneath without having to hold the nut from the other side. So when you're underneath the car, all you've got to do, when you're underneath tightening up the nuts to secure your rooftop tent, all you need to do is tighten the nuts that the brace is attached to. So at the moment I am now trying to remove the sticker and put the bolt through, and this is where I'm talking about the bolts that are the same length and diameter, but they have 2 washer sizes. One's larger and one's smaller. I made the educated guess that the larger washer would have to be used for the bottom side of your rooftop tent, seeing as it would need more surface area to grab hold of for strength. So that's why I went with the larger washer size on the base of the rooftop tent. It doesn't specify in the instructions which one goes where, but going off using that sort of basic educated guess, really, I assume that that's where they were supposed to go, and you put the smaller washer bolts where the ladder would go, because that doesn't require as much tension to hold that down, whereas you want a lot more surface area holding your rooftop tent to the actual framework itself. So that's why I went that way, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because if you got your bolts out and you were like, why are there 2 of the same size bolts but different washer sizes, it would be because I'm assuming you need the larger washers for the base of your rooftop tent. So it's pretty easy. You just poke them through, and once they're through, then you have the nut you'll actually put through the on your aluminium bracket itself. Once you slide the nut through, it can't turn inside the metal frame, so you're basically having to turn the bolt from underneath, like I am at the moment. That's me actually tightening it up from underneath the mattress. So you put your bolt into the metal frame, over the hole, you push the bolt up, then you hold the nut in place while you tighten that bolt up slightly. Once it grabs, then you just grab the spanner and you do it up nice and tight until it's firm and secure. So it's great that the nuts are there and they don't move once you slide them into place. And you only need one side to do it with, and you don't have to hold it. Same with the braces. When you slide the braces onto those metal frames, you don't need to hold the braces in place. They're locked in by the aluminium frame as well, so you only need to tighten the bolt of the plate that is holding up against either the tub rack mounts or your roof rack mounts. At the moment, what I'm doing is just putting on the bolts to attach the ladder to. That little, looks like a bit of a triangle thing, so there's two of those that need to be attached. Now this is us just putting it up on the back of the tub. I did manage to do it myself, although it wasn't that easy by myself, so I had to get my wife to come out and give me a hand to do it again. Mostly just because I think recording me putting it up there would have been hilarious. But putting it up myself, I could do, or you could do, but it was just the height and the bulkiness was the problem more than weight than anything else. So at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the metal bolts that slide onto the metal frame, onto the aluminium frames. And you can see here, yeah, I slide one on, I go and get another one, I slide it on, and then you'll see me often lift, you'll see me lift it up, yep. And what I'm doing, I'm just pushing the slider through onto the other side of the actual tub rack's metal crossbar. And you get one on either side, and then you grab the long flat metal I'd say braces. They have 4 holes in them, so obviously designed for either thicker or thinner bars, and you can put them through any one of the 4 holes, and then you basically then hand tighten the little nuts onto you can do one at a time, and once they're hand tightened, you can then get under, use the spanner that they provided, that works just fine. I think I used the spanner or a shifter to do it with. This is just from the outside. I actually go underneath so you can have a better look at the bolts and what they look like hanging down, and also the braces that you put up with the 4 holes. It's pretty that part of it's self-explanatory. Same with sticking the little rubber bits on the end of those metal aluminium frames. It was mentioned to me you can cut them depending on how you place your rooftop tent, but because if I choose to change the direction, because at the moment it's set up to open out onto the passenger side, if I turned it around to open out over onto the back of the ute, I might need that extra length, so I left it, and it doesn't stick out that far that I would fear that I'm going to get hit by it, because the tub sticks out further than that, and there are plastic bits on the end there to stop you from hurting yourself. I also didn't put the ladder on the ground. I put it on when I got up, so I'd suggest probably putting it on when you're on the ground. It's a little bit easier than doing it when you're up there, but either way, it's not hard. The little bolts that come with it are very distinct. You can't miss them. They're simple. So that's most of it. I'm going to switch quickly to the underneath, and I do apologise for the camera quality underneath because of the fact that it's head mounted, and I don't often realise that I move my head as much as I do. But it gives you an idea of where those bolts are. You can see that how they hang down from the aluminium sliders. You can see them sitting either side of the crossbars, and then you can also see at times, I think you'll see at one moment where I look down, you can see there's the metal brace with the 4 holes in it, and then at one point I look back up and you can see that I put the metal braces in their place with the nuts over the top. So those things are free to slide up and down. You're free to move your tent around on the roof at this stage until you get it where you want it. So it's perfectly either straight and further away from your window of the back of your car like mine was. I wanted to move it a bit back further, all sorts. So as you can see, I've got the two little bolts sticking out either side of the crossbar on both sides. So you push them up nice up close against each other so that the brackets will go over those little the bolts that are sticking out, and the nuts go on and those things don't turn. So you just got to turn the nuts. So it's very simple, this part of it. The rest of the installation is pretty much straightforward. So in comparison, much easier installation than the other one. And I did the review on the tent itself, so I'll put that link in the description below, and so you guys can check out what I think of the actual tent itself. Oh, there's those braces I was talking about, and in a moment you'll see the footage of them up. But yeah, check out the link for the actual review of the tent, and if you need to know how to do the tub itself, I've got a link to that as well, and I'll be doing a part 2 with some extra stuff that I've since discovered and want to include. So thanks again for PPD for helping making this happen, and catch you on the next one. And if there's anything else, drop us a comment and give us a like. Cheers, guys.